I think only the Palestinians have sustained a more prolonged bombing run in 2023 than Anheuser Busch. Too soon? I don't really care. Jokes are funny over here, because somehow, some 6 odd months after everything hit the fan, they are still losing money. It's unreal at this point in time. That's what happens, man, when you miss all of the warning signs. When you decide to put ideology first, you end up putting your business second, and a distant second at that. So here's how much a Bud Light stock, I guess it should be Anheuser-Busch stock, because Bud Light specifically doesn't have any stock, even though it completely and totally cratered the overarching parent company, is down in the last month. Although Wall Street experts have been bullish on Anheuser-Busch InBev. Like, I'm not an expert, okay? This ain't financial advice at all whatsoever, obviously. And even I could read the signs. It's like, everybody's memeing this shit to hell and back. It's like, there is no recovery signs at all whatsoever. Didn't really think that the overpayment in NFL marketing was really going to pan out. It's already ingrained in popular culture right now that Bud Light is tranny fluid. Very little is going to, at least in the short term, remedy that situation. They've just got to ride it out. I don't know, cut costs or something like that. Just make it perpetually a little bit cheaper instead of just doing those goofy ass buyback programs, or not so much buyback programs. That'll be for the retailers themselves, but just the goofy rebate programs. It's like, man, you're going to have a sustained runs of believable marketing campaigns in order to foster any new goodwill. Oh, right, yeah, and their months-long outrage over the controversial campaign. Yeah, we already know at this point in time. As it happens, the Bud stock has continued to decrease in value, having dropped over 7% in the last month. We're near the end of October. Christ, it's no longer April Fool's Day when all of this stuff kicked off. We're dealing with Halloween, for Christ's sakes, and even still losing 7% and adding up to a loss of nearly 18.5% recorded in the past 6 months. Holy man. Yeah, so the price of Bud Light stock at press time stood at $53.01, which represents a modest increase of about 0.04% in the last 24 hours and a loss of 0.75% across the last week. So yeah, they're up a little bit, but they're down precipitously, as well as being down 7.69 nice percent over the previous month and losing 18.47% in the past 6 months. They're right there. That's just what, like a 2-week trend? Okay, just seeing. It's like, yeah, we were getting real close. Okay, we were going to be coming back, and then all of a sudden, done. Dusted. Taking into account the technical analysis of the support area, Bud stock presently stands between $46.08 and $53.02, while encountering resistance between $57.68 and $64.73. The zone it needs to break out of to give it the strength for an upward move. And bro, that's not going to happen. Because we can see, if you've been following this stuff, not even closely, as I have, which obviously, it's kind of my job to report on the market, okay, see what's going on with Bud Light on a, semi-consistent basis. It's not like it was. Like, obviously, if you're following the channel, you're not seeing Bud Light content coming out every single day like it was in, the first half of this catastrophe, but I'm still, just keeping my eyes peeled and ear to the ground when it comes to new material in this months-long saga. Not because I give a shit about Bud Light. I don't have any stock in the company. I'm not even a Bud Light fan. I've never drank in my entire life. I just find it an interesting case study given the overarching implications and how you can go from being the number one, the best-selling beer in the entire country to just throwing it all away because you were trying to simp on a tranny. You can't fathom, man. And for whatever reason, okay, even the Hill, the fucking commie-ass Hill, the Hurl, as I've called it before, if even they can point out where you fucked up, and this is an opinion, okay? This is an opinion piece, but it really does highlight a bunch of the different bullet points that Anheuser-Busch just ran right through in order to go, no, we're a progressive beer company now, and why it completely failed for them. Bud Light is still sinking. Here's why it really lost its crown. I'm not going to read through all of it. You can if you want to. Link will be in the description. I just think that, they raise a lot of good bullet points. Many ascribe Bud Light sales decline to a conservative response to the incident with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. If that's all it was, take a look at what happened with Target. Okay, that was here, that was there. Okay, they did lose quite a bit of money, but they've since recovered. Okay, all of those different makeup marketing ads or marketing campaigns with transgender influencers. Okay, the same ones that were trying to erase women. How many of those boycotts were that successful? This is such a unique situation because from toes to titties, everybody in the company fucked this up tremendously. So that's why. So yeah, by pointing out that that was the flashpoint, yes, you're 1000% correct, but it got so much bigger than that. They're wrong. Nike, for example, saw its stock increase 5% after its 2018 campaign supporting Colin Kaepernick because everybody was talking about Nike. And here's the thing about Nike athletic wear. Okay, I'll let you in on a little secret. It's actually really high quality shit. Okay, you know, those Chinese work camps that they create everything out of do a damn fine job. The Mulvaney incident was merely a triggering event. Bud Light sales decline was years in the making. Yeah, it was going down, but it was going down at kind of like a 5-degree angle. Not the 30-degree angle that they ended up creating with the Dylan Mulvaney thing. But yes, due to what many see as a mediocre product, below average customer satisfaction, and an egocentric management decisions. The last one is very important. In April, Bud Light sent Dylan Mulvaney a beer can with her face imprinted on it. Her in big quotation marks. Conservative customers, feeling betrayed, fled to competitor brands and called for a boycott. Liberals criticized Bud Light for not supporting Mulvaney, who faced transphobia and felt bullied. Yes, felt transphobia and felt bullied. Never really backed up anything. It's just Anheuser Busch didn't contact me when I needed them the most. When everything was going good, there were 2 sets of footprints in the sand. But then in my most difficult and hardest times, there was only 1 set of footprints. Why multinational corporations did you leave me in my time of need? CEO Brandon Whitworth's June apology was widely panned as insincere. By that month, Bud Light's parent company, Anheuser Busch InBev, lost $27 billion in market value. In July, the company announced it would lay off 350 employees. Frustrated, Billy Busch, heir to the Busch family, offered to buy back the Bud Light brand in InBev by August. Bud Light sales had declined 26.8%, while rival Modelo sales grew 15.9%. On October 9th, Bud Light's stock closed at its lowest point since April, triggering this event. Companies can withstand a triggering event such as Johnson & Johnson's Tylenol tampering in 1982, Nike supporting Kaepernick in 2018, and just go ahead and, think of the other boycotts that were out there this year that were just totally and completely ineffectual and never really panned out. North Face, remember, they had a tranny park ranger, and what happened with that? Very little to nothing. So here's the bullet points that this author and The Hill decided to publish, and I think that they're pretty good. Mediocre offering, undifferentiated from the competitors. Yes, in a 2022 blind taste test, ranked Bud Light 6th among its 8 beers tested. Another 2022 test ranked it 7 out of 10. 2023 ranked it 22 out of 28. Nobody was really that thrilled with the actual taste of it. It was just one of those legacy brands that everybody's like, oh, I'm going to have a beer. I don't know, I've been drinking Bud Light for forever. My father drank Bud Light and so forth, so on and so forth. Like, that was just the thing that you did. I would imagine for people that drink, obviously not my story. You're just relaying a common one that was out there. And below average customer satisfaction. Okay, yeah, my research shows that customers remain loyal to the company that has consistently high customer satisfaction ratings. Yeah, that seems to make sense. Like, I'll tell you, my vacuum's been fucking up recently, and it's a Dyson. I've had Dysons for as long as I've purchased vacuums, because I've always considered them to be very high quality, but recently it's been fucking up a little bit. So I called into the customer service, and it's like, yeah, I think that it's this one filter. And it's making a squealing noise, and I need to get it fixed and all that stuff. And they're like, yeah, no, totally fine. You still live at this address, okay? You bought this. It's under warranty. Don't worry about that. Anything else that's wrong with it? And they sent me a box full of goodies. I slapped them on the vacuum, and it works perfectly. And you know what? I'm never not buying a Dyson anymore, because by the time that I I called in, I was on the phone and I was talking to somebody within about 5 minutes. It is impeccable customer service. Can't rank them any higher than that. When my internet was going in and out during the summer and it was just being an absolute nuisance, I thought multiple times about throwing everything from my ISP out on the curb and just calling up the next person, because I spent probably across the 3 different calls that I made, no word of a lie, in on and around 2.5, 3 hours. And by the time that the texts came out, the texts were probably in my place on the 2 different call outs that they were here. No word of a lie, about 5 hours, and I still have internet. So if there's a better opportunity that comes across, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking that. So yeah, totally agree with that. Toyota is one example. In 2009, you guys probably remember this, but you probably don't think about it because Toyota has a really good reputation with making good with their customers. It recalled 8 million vehicles due to defects associated with 52 fatalities. That was, if I do recall this correctly, that would be the accelerator. It wouldn't disengage. It would get stuck under, I think it was the matting, or it was at least the frame that was right there. And yeah, I remember just people getting knocked off, okay, driving off of cliffs, driving into oncoming traffic, railings and all that shit. It was wild. In 2010, when the recall was in progress, I and my colleagues surveyed owners of Toyota and non-Toyota automobiles. Surprisingly, Toyota owners agreed more strongly that it was a reliable vehicle and were more willing to buy a Toyota in the future than non-Toyota owners. Consistently high customer satisfaction had insulated Toyota from the recall, a triggering event. Unlike Toyota, customer satisfaction with Bud Light's parent company, InBev, has steadily declined from a score of 84 in 2019, 80 in 2020, 78 in 21, 79 in 22, okay, lower than the 22 industry average of 80%. That's crazy, because they've been at or below that for going on 3 years, and you think that third year is going to be any better, especially this year? I don't think so. Decision making that underestimated customer diversity. Underestimated customer diversity. What do you mean by that? Many senior executives make egocentric decisions. Alyssa Heinerschneid, looking directly at you. We've got like a fratty brand, and we need to move away from like the out of touch humor. It's like, no, it is a fratty brand. You might not like the crass humor, but then again, who drinks beer? Guys drink beer. And you know what? Guys are funny. Bitches ain't funny for fuck. So why the hell is she making the decisions? Unfortunately, their belief may be based on gut feelings or salient information from a small group of like-minded individuals. You don't say. Somebody who went to Harvard and was in some of the elite circles might have an out-of-touch opinion of the consumer base. Alyssa Heinerschneid, yes, vice president of marketing, former, sent Mulvaney a can of beer that seemed to believe that Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out-of-touch humor. See, I remember that off the top of my head. I didn't see that there. Saying that was really important, that we had another approach. See, there's different people that are out there. Contrary to Bud Light's gambit, peer-reviewed research unequivocally shows that large companies erode brand value, decrease sales, and harm stock prices when they engage in political activism. Let me run that back one more time, because that is super goddamn important. When companies decide to weigh in on the culture war, on either side, they end up eroding their base. And also, let's just take a very sober approximation. Whenever a company decides to weigh into political activism, what side do they normally take? The one that is for the hyper elite, the super out of touch people. They always take the leftist perspective, because whenever a right-leaning company comes out, they get castigated. They end up becoming an independent company, and the only ones that just go, we don't hate the customers. In fact, we're kind of like an American brand. We kind of like freedom of speech, and hey, if you want to, fuck with us, come buy our product. They seem to do exceptionally well. But that's only for a small minority of companies. When you think of the big brands that are out there, hell, we already referenced Nike before. They weighed in on one side. And that's why people, if it wasn't for such quality products, they would go ahead and, just look elsewhere. But nobody comes close. I like Under Armour. They don't have the same reach as Nike. And if we take a look at some of their advertising, it's, just as bad, if not worse. Contrary to Bud Light's gambit. Oh, I'm sorry, I already read that part. After a triggering event, further attempts to mollify one group earned the ire of all. Exactly. Regaining its crown, competing on customer value. But as you can see, customer satisfaction is down, weighing in on the culture war. also pisses off your consumer base, and then everybody else picking up the slack by just simply not taking a side, just going, yeah, we got beer for sale. If you want to try it, we'd be grateful for it. Okay. So yeah, it's well pointed out by a lot of people covering this topic, by The Hill now, by several large publications going, Anheuser Busch, what the hell are you guys doing? Are you going to course correct on any of this stuff? Are you going to try to ride it out? Are you going to pretend like it's not happening? Well, we've seen them pretend like it's not happening, but now they are taking a proactive approach. And what is that specifically? Bribing companies to keep them on the shelf. It's like, oh my God, you guys continue to fumble time and time again. Anheuser-Busch dangles $150 million in incentives to distributors to keep beer in stock. Well, don't worry, it's being kept in stock because nobody's buying the shit anymore. It's fucking dead. Anheuser-Busch is dangling big incentives to distributors to keep its beers on and around the store shelves. They don't necessarily have the shelf space for it anymore, but if you can make a little kiosk or a little end cap on the corner, that'd be great. Following Bud Light's disastrous tie-up with Dylan Mulvaney, we know. Even as retailers begin reassigning the space they allocate to popular beers, according to reports. The embattled brewer, whose Bud Light brand has been slammed with boycotts, has lost, 46, I thought it was 60 billion at this point in time in market cap, but you know how that shit fluctuates, is offering as much as $150 million in relief this year alone. According to Beer Marketers Insights, that includes reimbursements to distributors for certain freight and fuel surcharges, and giving them an extra 5 days to pay their bills to the brewery, according to the trade publication. Well, that's very nice. I imagine for those who are having some cash flow concerns, that would help somewhat. Yeah, you could see some shady distributors who were maybe not as cash solvent as they were at the same time last year, maybe just going, yeah, there's probably some extra shelf space that we can probably just, keep in the warehouse for some Anheuser-Busch products, and that could offset some other things, or you can get some reimbursements, and I'd imagine there's probably some creative accounting going on. The relief programs include sales incentives payments that have been extended through the spring and summer and into the fall and likely the winter as well, according to the report. What's more, is the largest brewer in the world told distributors hit by the Bud Light fiasco that it's establishing a market share recovery incentive. Oh, you're going to start collectivizing the distributors? Is that what you're doing? Program beginning in the second half of 2024 through the end of next year. Oh, yeah, because they know that they really fucked up this time around. And yeah, we're just going to have to, continue on with the incentives in order to make everything a little bit better, okay? According to a memo from Anheuser-Busch's Chief Commercial Officer, Kyle Norrington. Not seeing a lot of women working at Anheuser-Busch anymore. Funny thing about that, I guess they were among the first people. Unbelievable marketing strategy by one. Oh, it's right there on the screen. You can see it right there. Miller Lite saying that women are very important and all they were used with eye candy. Yeah, you should probably go back to those positions because that was successful. Bitches running these organizations couldn't fucking do a goddamn thing correctly. Anyways, there were no further details about the market share recovery incentives, but the timing is significant as most retailers ramp up their shelf space in the spring when they look at the last 12 months of sales and determine which products are hot and deserve more space, which will lose space. And yeah, if you're going to be taking a look at the entirety from quarter two of 23 to quarter two of 2024, I think we know what's going to happen with the big two from Anheuser-Busch. They are going to be looked at, laughed at, and thrown away with some regularity because you can see, the combined efforts of Coors Light and Miller Lite have since overtaken Bud Light, and then of course the King right now hasn't even been mentioned outside of a passing reference in Modelo Especial. It's number one with a bullet, and it's not giving up its crown anytime soon because it has smart marketing by latching on to UFC, which is probably the most well-regarded organized sports league out there right now. Meanwhile, Bud Light is, the pregame show, sponsoring the pregame show while they sing the Black National Anthem at any important NFL game. Yeah, really good marketing right there. And how are those numbers working out on the MLB playoffs right now, where Budweiser is one of the big sponsors? Yeah, again, you guys can't even find a new problem to blame your lingering failures on. At this point in time, you only have yourself to blame about this month-on-month catastrophe. Shit sucks, yo, but it's a disaster of your own making. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.